All right, we are live. Hey, 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 world. Welcome to Talk with Angel. I got Queen Modest with me. Say hey, love.
Hey, listeners. Hi, Angel.
So, just to introduce y'all to her, she is an author, mother. She is a speaker. She's also a mentor, and she is on first my first episode of the season with having a guest. So, welcome, love.
That's I am so excited. Thank you so much, Angel, for having me with you all. I'm honored to be here with you first and foremost, and to be on your first show. Oh my gosh, that's amazing!
Look, the
Um,
first show by myself.
yes, that is
Not trying to
amazing.
throw
Like,
shade. It's just the first
yes,
one by myself
baby.
on this new journey.
That's what's up. Listen, we all on the journey. You hear me? And it's like I don't look at this as just an interview. Like I look at it as a conversation of, motherhood, truth, healing, and growing for us all. Um, and just remembering who we are as not just mothers, but also individuals. You know what I mean? Because we can get so caught up in motherhood that we forget who we are. We can get so caught up in being in a relationship with somebody and we forget who we are as a person. And so I truly appreciate you and sharing my journey, my story with you all, because I just love women, us. And it's like we had so much going on. It's like we don't have time to like sit and actually just resonate with ourselves or be able to talk to each other in a way where we're being heard. Everybody want to speak, but ain't nobody hearing each other. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell folk, it ain't always got to be something you may agree with, or it may not be your reality, but it don't mean that it ain't happening to somebody. So we just got to respect each other's journey and each other's space and what each other is going through, even if we ain't dealing with it personally. We just got to respect everybody's story, and everybody's journey looks different.
That's right. Amen. That's right.
Yes,
So my
absolutely.
so my first question, like I had told her, y'all, her name is Queen, and as you see on the screen, she don't spell it Queen. She spell it Kqween. And when I saw it, I said that's so unique. Where does that come from? Is that your real name? Is that something you came up with? Like, where does that come from?
So the backstory of Queen, actually, so the name Queen is not just a name for me. It ain't just a cute little title. It ain't cute little stage name for me. Queen came into play for the women that I've grown into, and what that means is when the way I spell it, Kqween, Queen, Kqween, is resonated from the Egyptian times when we as queens in like 1820s, 1830s, somewhere around there, it was originally spelled Qween.
Gotcha.
Then, so when I studied that, I'm like, okay. So as I got older, my mom always put in like, oh, well, your name, she was so big on what my name meant and made sure, who I was as a person. So when I did my research, I've learned that my actual birth name means queen.
Mm-hmm.
So because Queen, Qween or Queen, it actually means wisdom and leader, which goes back to my birth name. It means wisdom, leader, and knowledge. So the K I kept in there to represent my birth name, and for K for knowledge. And
Okay.
so I kept the Qween for the original name. So I put it together so it holds my truth and who I was, and then also growing into the woman that I'm becoming on this new journey. So I pretty much just turned my pain, which was my birth name, to my purpose now, which is Queen, and that's who I stand on. That's the version of the woman that's sitting here before you today.
Oh, girl, I love it. I love I love it. I love it. I do. That's girl, that's powerful.
Yes,
But you
ma'am.
know what? People I don't think people realize just how much when we name our kids stuff, how it follows them through life. You get
Yes.
what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
my name is Angel. And I
Correct.
know when I looked up my name, it was like guardian, protector,
Mm-hmm.
and I be darn. I'm gonna try not to cuss. I
Yeah,
be darn if I don't live up to that name.
that part. Yes,
You
ma'am.
get what I'm saying?
And
I
that's where it was for me too. Like it resonated, like you were just speaking on when you came in, like the whole journey thing. Like we really don't understand how much weight or how much of a testimony we can be to people until we go through a journey. And I've always told folk, like, it's really hard to explain anything to anybody unless you experience what they experience. So it's hard for them to explain anything because it's like, well, you ain't experienced it, so you wouldn't even understand because I don't even know how to put words to it.
yeah,
And it's like once you experience a lot of things throughout your life, then you start seeing people differently. You start seeing life differently. You start seeing yourself differently. And every one of my children has a meaningful name, but they stand on the names that I give them as well, as far as like how mine's is Queen. I have gorgeous, I have beauty, I have pretty, I got handsome, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we stand on that. And then their father even gave all of them kingdom royal names. Like we got Princess, Majesty, Messiah, Your Highness. Like we got like, so it's
I
like
love it.
everybody is walking in their purpose on
Majesty.
purpose.
Yes,
You know.
I love it. Okay,
Yes,
I'm gonna get
ma'am.
on. So my next question is from my research, right? No,
Yes, ma'am.
I see that a significant proportion of your writing appears to be grounded in your personal opinions and experiences, right? So what life event prompts you to embark on your writing journey?
Whew, that is that's a loaded question. Um, so I actually began writing at the age of 8.
Okay.
I started writing poetry, as a matter of fact. Like I wrote poetry, and I also used to actually write. I used to go to like the dollar stores, or like growing up, we had like Family Dollar, those type of things, and used to get like greeting cards or Christmas cards, and I used to just write um, motivational things into the cards and just drop them in people's mailboxes. Just drop them in folks' mailboxes. Just because I'm like, well, people just need encouragement, and I've always just been an encourager. Like I've always just wanted to make sure folk was, inspired. I don't know what your struggle is or whatever, but somebody need to hear this, and I would write it down and I give it. So then I had like journals upon journals, and I would just start writing like poetry or just how I was feeling that day. Um, and when I began to do that, the older I got, like I said, the more I start really going through things in life. I actually turned my poetry into motivations. And then my sister used to be like, well, when your book coming out? You need a book. You need a book. And then her mom used to be like, you need a book. And I've always just kept hearing like, you need a book. You need a book. And I'm like, a book? Like, write no book. I just want to just tell folk, hey, how you doing? I'm encouraging you. Have a beautiful day. Have a positive, productive day. And when I really start sitting in it, and I'm like, okay. And then when life really start hitting me, I'm like, maybe I need to come up with maybe I need to turn this into a book, And from then on, I started writing for not just survival, but for therapy, So it just became a therapeutic thing. And then it became just my books after a while. Like, and when my babies came, they're like, Mom, this is really good. You should do this to it. Da, da, da. And I'm like, a book? I keep hearing book. Like, okay,
It was
well,
time.
it's my season. Yeah, it's my
Yeah.
season, I guess, because I didn't write to be seen. I didn't write to be heard. I wasn't trying to be no big. I was just being me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to write because that was just therapy for me. Like, and it was just a thing where, okay, I see all these people hurting now. Maybe if I can put something like real quick, and like the platform of like Facebook and things like that, I had a page where it was just encouragement for women, for mothers, for us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I'll just send like little nuggets out there, and whoever it touches, it touches. And after a while, again, people was like, well, I'm waiting on the book. I'm waiting. It's okay. Okay.
Look,
I
these
hear you,
people will
God.
put pressure on you by a book. Do you hear
I'm
me?
like, okay, I hear you, God. I got it. Here we go, book. Like, I'm like, here we go, book. Okay. So, but to answer your question, I've been writing for a very long time. Purpose, I guess, for purpose, on purpose. After I, look back on it, it was for a purpose. Because when I went back to actually read a few of my journals, it actually dealt with stuff that I'm dealing with now. I'm like, I was 8, 9, 10, 11 writing stuff that I'm dealing with today. Like, who would have thought I was gonna be a prophecy? Like, who would have thought?
Ahead of your time, like you said, a prophecy.
Yes,
prophecy,
ma'am. Yes. I'm like,
yes.
okay. So that was that. Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you this. So what was Queen Modest's background before becoming mother, author, coach, and mentor? Like, who was the child and the young girl before the woman we see today?
Before I became a mother, when I was younger, I've always wanted to understand who I was. I've never been the type to fit in, even though, as a child, when you in different backgrounds, like, what is it, schoolhouses, churches, growing up in churches, everybody got their little cliques and things. So of course you try it. I don't care who you are, as long everybody has tried to fit in somewhere. But yes, but as a child, because the pressure is, oh well, you need to be like everybody else. Da, 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 da. I tried so many times, and I just learned that I was not born to fit in. I mean, it's so funny because I learned that I was not born to fit in by the way I talk, just out of the blue. Like, folk ask me all the time, like, oh, well, where your accent come from? I literally was born talking like this. Like, when I first started talking, it was a weird accent and nobody knew where it came from. And still to this day, folk like, I don't know where to place you. And as I got older, and now that I'm walking in this Queen place, I'm like, good. Good.
I know that's right.
I used to try to have it. Like, I used to feel like self-conscious the way I spoke, and I used to try to have it. And I had a conversation with a lady, and she was like, I feel like you ain't being your authentic self. And I'm like, what you mean? And she's like, I feel like you trying too hard. She's like, can you just breathe, relax, and talk to me? I'm talking to you. Mm-hmm. And she like, no, like, really talk to me. So when I relaxed and started speaking to her, she was like, there it is. That's it. And I'm like, what you mean? She was like, that's you. Like, that's your voice. Like, keep it. Like, don't cover it up. Because, girl, I used to go like, hey, how you doing? No, trying to cover it up, trying to help, baby. It was bad.
Hold up. Look, let me say this real quick. When I first heard you talk, I was like, oh, she got that New Orleans accent. I was like, she from New Orleans. Look, my husband heard you when we was trying to get stuff set up, and he was like, she from New Orleans. And I was like, wait a minute. No, she ain't. That girl said Cleveland. But
that's so funny.
Beautiful, though.
Like the first one that said it. Like, I've heard New Orleans. I've heard Bama. I heard Florida. I've heard Atlanta. Like, folks been trying to place me. I've heard Africa. I've heard all of it. I done heard it all, baby. And I'm like, folks trying to place me. I'm like, good. I'm glad you can't place me nowhere. Good. I don't want to be placed. And it's so funny because the background really, and I just learned this a few years ago, my mama's family is from Bama.
Okay.
Right? But my father said, or my donor, he's from Jamaica. So I got like both. And it's like, so I got, the twang or whatever. And it's so funny because growing up, I used to just be like, I'm from Jamaica. Like, because folk just, I know you ain't from the States. I know. Okay, cool. I'm from Jamaica. I'm from Africa. Wherever you want to put me, yep, that's where I'm from. And so to really know, like my history, to really know that, oh, I really got roots in Jamaica. I didn't even know. I was just saying that because folk would be like, you ain't from the States. I know you ain't from this and that. And I'm like, I am though. But okay, I take it. I love it. I'll take it.
But you know what? Just hearing you say that now, yes, Jamaica. I
Yes.
can hear it now. But
Yes.
I couldn't hear it at first. All I could think is, but you know what? It's roots down of Jamaica in Louisiana.
Yes, ma'am.
But
It is.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, but that makes sense now because I'm gonna tell you, I got a girlfriend. She's matter of fact, she's from New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear what you when you just said Jamaica, I heard it. And
Yes,
she
ma'am.
know how to flip that switch to where you wouldn't even know she from America, baby. She get to doing that talking. I'm like, oh my God. Like what
And
you
it's
was
so funny
doing.
because I got the accent, but I don't know the language yet. I
Yeah.
haven't. I know a little. Like I can understand it. Like if somebody was to talk to me that was from like Jamaica or something, I can understand it. But I haven't learned the language, for myself to speak it to somebody else. So yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What made you even though I know it's just started originated from like poetry and just basically whatever you were going through in life, but what made you want to just really start writing about healing predominantly for women of color?
Me writing. Ooh, that's a loaded question too. Adrian,
I'm
you got some
sorry,
great
look.
questions. You okay? Um. um. Ooh. Yes. Okay. So I write for women of color because we experience motherhood so differently. Like, don't get me wrong, motherhood ain't easy for nobody. I don't care what background you come from.
Right.
But for us women of color, it's faced completely different. And we don't just raise our children, we carry generations of trauma, of generational curses, of all different things that sometimes we don't even know how to explain. Like we just know a lot of things we didn't do ourselves. It was put on us and we was just expected to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I really just sat back, I learned like we are set on this pedestal of we supposed to have all of these expectations. We supposed to be so strong, but we're hurting, and we're
Yes.
not being seen, we're not being heard, we're not being nobody is considering us as being, oh, okay, something is wrong. They just feel like, oh, every time she say something, she angry, she upset, she frustrated, she always complaining. But it's like, what's the backstory though? Like, I don't believe in a mother complaining. I believe in a mother telling her truth. But because it ain't what folk put in the headlines or the news, or that you see this polished motherhood that people expect, when a mother actually expresses what she's going through, it's, oh, she's upset, oh, she's she's complaining. No, that's her
Mm-hmm.
reality. That's what it looks like you ain't hearing her because y'all done, society done put it to this thing where it has to look this way. But
Yes.
motherhood is not polished. It ain't polished, baby. It don't come with a book. It don't come with a cheat sheet. It don't come with a manual. And everybody's motherhood looks different.
Yes.
And so when I sat back and seen so many of us were just lost, and I'm like, we need a space. We just need a safe space for us to just be able to come and speak freely, not to be judged or anything like that, because you'll see so many platforms, even through this social media world, you'll see so many platforms of pages that say, oh, this is a safe space, this is a non-judgmental thing, this is a non-gossip. But the moment you enter the room, that's all you see is gossip or comparison. Like, why are we comparing each other? Why? Like, if anything, if you've been through something, or if I tell you my story and some of the things click with you and you've been through it and you got through it, okay, how about help me? Or how about when I go through it and I see that you struggling somewhere, I'm gonna help you. I'm not gonna judge you for it. I'm not gonna put you down about it, I'm gonna be like, okay, sis, help me help you help us. Because the only way we move forward is if we help each other. Like, why is it a competition? Oh, well, my child do this, or my child do that, or I got this and I got that.
Right.
But that don't mean we ain't struggling somewhere. I don't care if you got $0 in the bank to $60 million in the bank. You struggling somewhere, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally. You're struggling somewhere, financially, whatever your somebody. Everybody has a struggle, and it ain't about titles or about the neighborhood you live in, the car you drive, or none of that. It's about who we are as a person, because all of these things are material things. All of this stuff can be taken away in an instant. And then what are
You
you
right.
left with? You know
You
what I'm
right.
saying? That's where folk fail to realize, like, you can have so many degrees as a thermometer. You can have all the cars in the daggone driveway. You can live in the best neighborhood that you feel like is the best neighborhood at the time, but it's like, once all of that is gone, once all of your material stuff is gone, as far as like your clothes and all, you spending all this money and all this stuff on these babies and things like that, but it's like, who are you after
That's
all of that is gone? You know what I'm saying? So to really answer your question, just for me being a mother, a melanin mother in America,
you
I
right,
had
babe.
to understand, like, I wanted people not to just read my book, The Weight of Motherhood, through a mother's lens, but through a melanin mother's lens. Like, to understand, like, yes, all of us mothers as a whole go through some stuff. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not diminishing no mothers at all, but you have to see it in the light of a mother who's actually lived it, who's living it, and who's helping other mothers who are afraid to speak who they are and what they've been through, because they know for sure they're going to get shut down. So I write for us because I know we deserve softness, we deserve the support, and we deserve grace, because we are human too. And I also bring in all mothers and everybody. Like, the weight of motherhood is for everybody. Like,
It
everybody.
is.
Because you people just need to see what's really behind all this social media, or anything that's glamorized. Anything that's glamorized has a backstory, and that's
Yeah.
where I give the backstory, the rawness of it. And I even started off like, it's gonna hit some strings. It's gonna hit. And if you ready to open, if you ready to move forward, then turn the page. If you ain't ready to grow, and this ain't the book for
Close
you,
the book, baby. Close it.
you gonna be upset, because you gonna be upset.
Yep. Look, from listening to you just say what all you said, and that's what I think even made me attract to you more when I seen some stuff. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I
Okay.
can. I'm talking to
I
my
think
baby
that's
at the
what
same time.
I think that's what made me attract to you even more, because when you had, when I was going through Facebook, I think you was in my group, my Women of All Walk Talk discussion group. And I can't remember what I posted, but when I seen that you said you was an author who write about healing, I
Yes,
was
ma'am.
like, shoot, that's right up my alley, baby,
Yes, ma'am.
because everything you just talked about, I wrote a book about, and I ain't trying to make it about me. I'm going to be
Yeah,
brief
yeah.
with it, but I
Absolutely.
want to give you my book. When I be able to get a copy, I gotta give you my book. I want you to read it. If you able to come back, I want you to come back so we can discuss it for
Yes,
real.
ma'am. Yeah.
Because I wrote a book about Black women facing trauma, and I'm gonna tell you, it's crazy how it hit, because during the time it came to me, I don't know where it came from, Queen. Truth be told, I
You know
wasn't even
where it
trying
came
to
from.
write that story. What you say?
You knew where it came from,
No,
baby. You
I
needed to
know,
tell
because
your
listen,
story. You
but
needed to
listen,
tell your story.
you right, but let me tell you what's crazy. It wasn't even the story I was trying to tell. You know what? Okay, let me tell you. When the story hit me, right, this was during the time that it was a lot of police brutality going on, right? There were so many cops killing us and getting away with it. And I
Correct.
was like, man, a story need to be told. A
Yes,
story need to
ma'am.
be told about this, and it need to show both sides. It need to show that side. It need to show our side too of
Yes,
what we
ma'am.
feeling. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I be when I be writing. I be wanting to show the whole scenario of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But something in my spirit said, no, we ain't
Mm-hmm.
telling that story. I was like, we ain't telling that story. What kind of story? What story we finna tell?
Mm-hmm.
I said, women. We finna reach the women because there are so many women that are still carrying the weight of being molested. So many women still carrying the weight of being in domestic relationships, or they're in domestic relationships and there's no voice to tell them that they can move forward or get out that situation. We finna talk to the woman that's been an addict trying to recover. We finna talk to the woman that lost her husband and she's still trying to hold it together.
Yes.
You know, it was all this stuff hitting me. I was like, wow. Some of the stuff, Queen, I'm gonna be real with you. I know it was God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I couldn't. It was so many times I had to get up from my desk because I said, God, and it's one of the characters, Ruth. I want you, when you read it, I want you to just really give me your honest opinion on her.
Yes, ma'am.
What she went through. I had to ask God, who go through stuff like this? Like, who really went through stuff like this?
You will be surprised. You will be surprised.
He took me to Maya Angelou. I don't know what it was, but God directed me to Maya Angelou, and that, because I always been a fan of her for one.
Right.
But I did not know the back end story. I did not know Maya Angelou got raped when she was younger. I did not know that she got raped and went mute. I did not know that she her brother. She told her brother, that's what happened. She told her brother about it, and her brother got the person killed. So that's why she went mute. And it took a lady named Miss Flowers to make Maya Angelou start talking. See, I didn't know that. And that's when I knew this story is deeper than what I'm writing. It's deeper. And then God allowed me to share my experiences, you know, of what I, like you said, my experiences of what I went through in that story. So just to be connected with you, a person who, you know, writes to help others heal, and not only heal, but also show them that, baby, it's life after that storm. Yeah, you lost a child. God may bless you with another child. You may have been with a man that couldn't love you, but God may place the right man in your life that's going to love you correctly. You know, but that's all I got. I'm just going.
I love that because I've always, like, before I became a mother, like, folk used to always tell me, like, when you have children, you're gonna be the best mama. You're gonna do whatever it takes, blah, 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 blah. And I never really understood what came with being a mom. You know, I never really understood, like, everything that came on the back end of it. Like you said, you know, we see mothers, but we don't know the story. Like you was just talking about Maya Angelou. Like, we see you on the forefront, but we don't know your story. We know you. We might know your name. We might know your face, but we don't know your story. And I got a new found respect. Like, I've always had respect for anybody, but I got a newfound respect for mothers, because it's like, how can you disrespect or be so cold to the women who brings life into the world? Like, if it wasn't for us, wouldn't nobody be here, you know? So as I just sit back and I'm just an examiner, just by heart, and just observe, it hurts for me to know that mothers are so disrespected, especially melanin mothers are so disrespected. When melanin mothers, we've been doing this, baby. We ain't new to this. We true to this. We've been nursing other folk children. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for us to be able to have to not nurse our babies, but have to nurse your babies and her babies and his babies, and then you come back to me with an attitude and the, like, what? Like, explain to me, how did it make this make sense? Because how you mad at me, and I done put generations on generations on generations, done taught y'all, done birthed y'all, done helped birth y'all, done use my own breast milk to not only nurse my babies, but your babies too. Right. Like, but you hate me though. Like,
it don't make sense.
Not at all.
It don't make sense.
Not at all.
But okay, let me ask you this.
Yes,
Queendom Hills.
Yes, ma'am.
What? Tell me about Queendom Hills. What is Queendom Hills, and what does that mean to you?
Whew. Oh, Jesus. Oh,
Queen, I ain't trying to hit you too hard with these questions. Look.
Listen, it's so funny that you ask the questions, because, like, the questions you asking me are the questions that I've never really like actually sit with myself with. Like I got hit with like surface level questions as far as like the question you just asked, like what my name mean, where my voice came from, where my look come from, or how was I as a child. That's where it really stop at, really, or how many babies I got, how I did. That's the level I get. These ones you got right here, baby, I gotta hold on, like, ooh. Okay, like I know, because I will get to talking, baby, and then I forget about the question. So I like bring myself in, like, okay, Queen, back to the question. Okay. And that's why you hear me like to answer your question. Because I get
You
to
good?
talk
You
and I be
good?
all over the place. So Queendom Heals. Where did it come from? So honestly, Queen, me. And then I always like to incorporate my babies. So the K was not just represent me, but it represent my children as well. Because I got KZ names.
Okay.
So I have 5 babies with the letter Z and 3 of them with the letter K. So when I did Queendom Heals, the Z was for my babies. The K was for, us as a connection. And then, of course, Queen. And then so I'm like, I need something that like resonates with what I'm trying to, portray, or what I'm trying to bring to the table as a whole, what folk can just connect with. And because I'm talking about melanin women, yes, we are the face. I'm gonna always represent my people.
That's right.
So I'm like, we are royal. So I need something that's gonna stick with Queen Modest. And I went to think about it. I'm like, what can I do that'll rhyme, that'll sit with Queen Modest, but still resonate with my people and bring other people in too. So it just came to me like Queendom Heals, because let's see, I'm doing books about healing. We are kings and queens. We were the first kings and queens. And then, why not be a healing space? Because when you see kings and queens, you see them leading people. And when folk hear about leading people, they don't think that they have any kind of trauma or any kind of anything going wrong. When you see a king or a queen, you think they got it all together. They, they solid, they got it together, they got answers to everything, they know what's going on. So I'm like, what better name than Queendom Heals to sit with? Because I want folk not to just walk in to my books, but I want them to transform through it. Like I want them to transform into their healing and just evolve into a person where they can stand and be like, okay, this is who I am now. Like I know I can hold my own now, because after I read her books, the questions that she asked me, the stuff that I had to resonate with myself, because I purposely put questions in there that is going to make folks sit down with themselves like, hold on, wait, hold up. Like just how I told you, like, I didn't think you was gone. That's the type of question. Like it's gonna be one of them things like, oh shoot. Like because folk gonna think like, I'm just gonna go on this and go right through the questions. Yeah, okay.
You got to sit down and be with
It's like,
yourself.
girl, that part. So it became a space. Like I just wanted it to be a place for mothers to be seen, not be judged, to be heard, not just for the world, but for themselves. Because a lot of women, a lot of mothers, it's not even about them being heard to the world. They don't even be heard to themselves.
That's
like
true.
they're afraid to even speak things to themselves. Like they just so quick to be like, it's a lot of women, mothers, who will go past like their own mirrors and won't even look into the mirrors because they don't even recognize who they are. So
Woo.
when I brung Queendom Heals, I'm like, it ain't even about, healing in front, because so many people are like, oh, well, I got this, I got social media, I got so everybody wants to heal in public. I bring in a space where you can heal in private on your time, and when you're ready, because everybody's layers are different. Everybody's layers is thicker than somebody else's, So when I thought of Queendom Heals, I'm like, okay, let's do a self-awareness, an identity, a development, a spiritual awakening so that they won't have to feel pressured to, oh, well, okay, everything's on the timeline because I got to make sure I got it. This, did it. No, you healed on your time because healing is not a quick fix. Healing is a growing, it's a evolving. So just because you grew today, don't mean something tomorrow ain't gonna trigger you on something that you think you grew out of. You gonna get tested every day just to see how much you've grown. And the growing ain't even about, you know, how you can write all day long. That's fine. That's just the first thing. But it's all about how you react to things, because you're going to come up against stuff on purpose, the same stuff, just to see if your reaction is going to be different. So when Queendom Heals dropped in my lap, I was like, that's it. Because I want everybody to feel royalty. Like, I don't care about your background. I don't care. You're going to feel royal. But, of course, we going to be the face because we were the first people. And folks going to know that. Like, I'm writing for everybody, but, baby, we going to always be the face, because don't get it twisted, honey. This us. Like, we've been doing this, baby. We've been doing this, honey.
Look. We gonna have to get into that too. You said we was the first, and people don't know that.
They don't, honey. Like, they put, baby, listen, when I tell you we have created everything, ain't nobody nothing without us, honey. And them Caucasian folk, they colonizers, we gonna do that. If it wasn't for us, like, they wouldn't know nothing. But because they had us be the background of it, threw a white face on it and called it something different, now we in the background like, hold on, because we've been holding up everybody for so long. And it's like, when we gonna finally stand up and be like, okay, let me have my stuff back, let us have our, let me get my power back, because it's time for us to stand up, like, not disrespectfully, but in royal where we were. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to come to a place where we have to understand the only reason why we are targeted so bad is because we are valuable. Like, you got to think about it. Like, if we weren't so valuable, like, don't nobody try to knock nobody off their game if they ain't a threat.
That's right.
Don't nobody try to interrogate or try to poke the bear if you ain't somebody that stands on something for something. So it's like, okay, if I didn't mean anything, why y'all so quick to try to kill us off? Because we are valuable. Because it don't make sense. Like, oh, well, you ain't nothing. They so quick to try to tear us down, but y'all want to kill us though. If we ain't that valuable, why are you trying to kill us? Why are you trying to take us off the radar? Why are you putting your face on everything we done did? Because we a threat, baby. Like, and it's like we have to own that in a way where it's like, we ain't trying to be prideful, but we know we the ish. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know this. So why are we competing with each other? Like, why?
It don't make sense.
We are so better united than we are divided. And once people start waking up completely, then we can start making a change. But right now, we too focused on each other than throwing that shade to somebody else. Like, how about we come together and actually do something about it than going at each other? Because we're mad. We got every reason to be upset. We got every reason to be angry, frustrated, tired. But it's not our energy to go at each other. It's our energy to come out of the community, come out in the community and help us, because we only win when we unite with each other. Like, we are all we got at the end of the day.
That's right.
And there is no better feeling than knowing, like, oh, I got my sister. Oh, I got my brother. Like, I may not understand your story, but I'm walking with you because I know it's real.
That's right.
And so at the end of the day, it's like, that's where Queendom Heals came from, because it's like, I just want everybody to feel like they are seen and that they are being heard, but no more than all of us are kings and queens at the end of the day, and we all need that respect and to be seen human. and so that's why our face is the forefront of it, because baby, you're not gonna erase us off of this, but I'm gonna make sure everybody is included. I'm not excluding nobody, but you gonna see us. Like you gonna see us.
So let me ask you about your book, The Weight of Motherhood.
Yes, ma'am.
Beyond the baby bump, beyond the baby bump. Y'all, excuse me, I got tongue tied over here. Carrying more than a child, the mental, emotional, financial, and physical load of it all. What
Yes, ma'am.
inspired you to write this book? And I love this cover, by the way. I love how it shows the bills, the grief, the bills, trying to carry these babies. You see all the stuff in there that comes with the bills. Because buying tissue, house supplies, baby, that's a bill.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me, what inspired the weight of motherhood?
The weight of motherhood actually came from my story. Um, Everything that I've went through as a mother. And then, like I was saying earlier, I just sat back and actually observed everything that mothers go through. And then it's like, now that I am a mother, it's like, this is not easy. Like it don't matter how much support you think you have or how much money you think you get. It's not easy. Like, and so as I really just sat back, I'm like, okay. So I start writing my story, right? And then, like you said, it was like, I'm writing my story and put my story out. And then it just turned into, I'm speaking to everybody. Like, I'm speaking to everybody. And then I had to think, like, okay, well, maybe, because, Angel, I'm going to be real with you. I did not write to do any type of healing books. I wanted to do urban fiction, right? So I'm like, I had this book and it was like, it was juicy, honey. It was real juicy. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, and then life started hitting me, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I start just writing my story. And then I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. There's some things that folk don't even know that they need to know about mothers. Because it originally started off as an urban book. And then it wasn't that title, though. It was something else. And then when I came up with this title, it was going to be about me and my life as a motherhood, what I was carrying. So then it transformed to talking to mothers. And I'm like, well, I'll just give it just to mothers. And then I thought about it like, wait a minute. Not too many people actually understand what mothers are holding and what we are carrying daily. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this book a teaching book. So everything that I had, girl, when I tell you I wrote this book a total of 10 times. I wrote this book in 2022. It is now 2025. I wrote this book a total of 10 times.
What?
So I was, because it just didn't satisfy. It didn't resonate. So I'm like, okay, it's not. It's So when I finally got it to a point where I was like, oh yes, this is good. I'm like, okay. And what it became was my first healing book. And what it was, it's a teaching moment. And so I pretty much created my own genre. Like, I am a informational, nonfiction, reflectional book pieces, because all of my books are nonfictional, but they're also informational. So with the weight of motherhood, I'm like, mothers can actually read it because they need to understand what other mothers are going through. Because yeah, you have a story, but so do she. And a lot of women, a lot of mothers don't even understand each other's stories. But I'm like, as a cover, everybody and their great grandmama need to read this, because it's gonna be a lot of stuff in there that a lot of folk didn't even realize. Like, I cover everything in this book that folk just don't even think about. Like, as far as the breakdown of, because it's in 4 sections. So I go the pregnancy journey, then I go to the labor and delivery journey, then I go to motherhood journey, and then I talk about postpartum. And then I also have stories from actual mothers who let me put their story in there, like a snippet of their story that they wrote on their own, and I put it in there for folks to understand, like, I'm not just writing this because it's cute. I'm writing it because this is what it really is. So the breakdown for each section chapter is, people think of, oh, pregnancy is just, oh, you got a baby bump, you finna take some pictures, da, da, da. No. And then people think labor is, oh, you're just gonna push out a baby, or you're just gonna get cut. Da, da. No,
some mama
like,
losing life trying to deliver a baby.
and baby, listen. And then so that section right there, the labor and delivery portion, was the most hardest part I had to write. And I think that's why it took me so long to write this book, because when I tried to write that part, I cried every time I start writing it, because just to put my mindset in other women's shoes of what they, like you just expressed, like a lot of mothers lose their life trying to give birth, or a lot of women go home empty handed because they done lost their baby or babies, and then, or both, like you got a family that comes trying to be joy and they find out, oh shoot, we done lost both of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it hit like anything you can think of, because you a mother. So
Yeah.
anything you can think of about motherhood that you went through, it's in that book. And that's why when you had asked me the other day, like, I was gonna get your book, I'm like, hold on, because world, I'm in the midst of revamping it again.
Okay. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it.
I'm revamping it because it's coming out on Kindle. So I have to restructure it, because because since I'm doing everything on my own, I'm publishing my own books. I have to redo everything so that it can fit in. So bear with me. But by the time this come out, it'll definitely be out. But for you, I'm telling you, it'll be out by Christmas. So
Gotcha.
I will have it to you. But just everybody get ready, because all of my books, when this episode come out, all my books gonna be nice and ready on the Kindle. Okay, you ain't gotta wait for an actual copy. For everybody that want to scroll through their phone, baby, I got you. Okay.
I understand they want to scroll through that.
I got you. I got one for you too, honey. I got it. Here
Let me ask you this, Queen. I heard you mention it, but why do you think postpartum, which is, let me tell you, postpartum is real, y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
Postpartum is real, y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of mothers may not experience it, but postpartum is real.
Every mother experiences postpartum.
Do you think so? Because let me say this real quick. I never experienced it until my third baby. I'm going to say the third one was a charm. I'm going to be real. I didn't experience it with my first child. I didn't experience it with my second child. But that third child, that's when it hit. I had my first contraction. Look, I done went 2 pregnancies, no contraction. Baby, I got to experience contractions. My third pregnancy, I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh, it's coming every 30 minutes. Oh, I went to the hospital and told these folks, because see, with my last child, my water broke. Mm-hmm. She came early. She tried to come out foot first. Mm-hmm. So, we had to hold out on that one. Well, with this one, I don't know what her issue was, the last baby. She was just ready to get up out of here, which I had complications with her the entire pregnancy, which I have complications anyway. But with this one, like I said, I had the contractions, and then after the fact. And I think sometimes it's because I was dealing with a lot. Let me say this. I had just released my book. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it. I had just released it. I was doing what you call it. I was doing events. Mm-hmm. Based around my book, whether I was doing a book signing or whatever it was, I was doing that while I'm pregnant with her now. Mm-hmm. And then I had got some devastating news, made my water broke. Like I said, I was already having issues. Mm-hmm. And then after that, because she stayed in the hospital, my baby wasn't but 1 pound and 11 ounces. Mm-hmm.
So how many weeks were you when you had her?
Huh?
How many weeks were you when you had her?
Girl, I think I was like early 30. Mm-hmm. Or 20, it was something like that. It was early. I don't even think I was all the way 32 weeks yet. It was early. I know it's 6 months. It was right at 6 months. I hadn't even hit 6 months. It was almost like right there.
So you sound like 29, 30. It's just like the one
Yeah,
thing that's a
somewhere
stay.
in there.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
But she did stay in the hospital longer.
Mm-hmm.
She like I said, 1 pound 11 ounces. It was a lot, but when she came home, that's when the postpartum started sitting in because she was different than
Mm-hmm.
my other baby. She came home with thrash. She came home with caffeine. She
Mm-hmm.
came home constipated. She
Mm-hmm.
came home with what you call it when they cry all the time?
Colic.
Um,
Well,
colic.
colic. Yeah.
She
Mm-hmm.
had colic. You know, they last for like what 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot. It was overwhelming, and that depression started hitting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would say after sitting down with myself and dealing with myself,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to overcome postpartum. I was also able to overcome depression.
Mm-hmm.
I can say right now, no matter what I go through, I would never claim depression again. Depression is an illness.
Yes,
People
ma'am.
don't want to, say it, but that is an illness, and it
Yes,
it,
ma'am.
it, it, it travels. Like
Mm-hmm.
you said with the other thing, from generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to really sit down and tackle that with
Yeah.
myself, you
Yeah.
know. But I ain't trying. My bad, Queen. I was just
No,
going to
I
that.
wanted to know because I was gonna ask you about your books and stuff too. Because I didn't even know you was an author until I was like, oh wait, she's an author too. Where your books at? Because I want to read your books too. How many books
Amazon.
you got?
Let me tell you. 15 years old, I wrote a total of 30 screenplays now.
Okay.
Screenplay.
Okay.
Now let's talk about it. The book that's out is new. That's
Okay.
new. That was something God put on me. Like I said, I wrote that.
Okay. Yes,
Now
ma'am.
I was coming back to play with the stories I wrote when I was 15. Like I said, it was a total of 30. So I was
Okay.
going back to play with it before the fire happened.
Mm-hmm.
I printed all that stuff out. For some reason I thought I had it saved to a hard drive. Even if I did, it got burnt up too.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
when I'm finna have to start all the
All
way
over.
over. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you one thing about it. God stored them stories in me, baby. I can remember every story from the first page to the back. I may not remember it word for word, which I would
Right.
may have to go
You
back and
remember the
do
plot? Of
anyway.
course.
I
Yeah.
remember the plot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but yes, I'm gonna say this: healing was never part of it. That just came for me. But I write everything. I write horror, drama,
Okay.
mystery, whatever
Okay.
you name, baby, I could do.
You did. I know. Okay. And you know what? That sounds like me because I can fluctuate, but right now I'm full. That's my mission right now is to heal the people because baby, this is what we need, especially in this day and age right now. These past couple of years, baby, been hard for all of. So it's like I knew it was a reason why he set me down in this season to focus on this, even with 1,000 babies running around. And it's like the last 3 years I was pushing out babies. You feel me? So it's like I'm pushing out babies coming up with stories stuff. Like, so it's like I knew he had me do this for a legit reason and for a purpose, on purpose. And it's like, okay, all right, I hear you. Here we go. I guess you're gonna make me into an authoress. Here we go. Let's go.
Hold on. So let me ask: was you dreading becoming an author too, or
Baby, listen, being an authoress was not on my list. Like I tell you what, I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a cook. I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be a veterinarian at one point. I wanted to be a life coach, and I stopped there. Then I started, like I said, I've been writing for so long. It's like, okay, I wanted to do poetry. Chad, when I looked down over the things that I had and what I wanted to do, Authoress wasn't nowhere on that list, honey. And I even played around with I used to just play around just to see how much imagination I had. So I would write little snippet of screenplays and things like that. Wasn't nothing, big or nothing, but I would write there just to see if I could do it. Hello, I could do this. But Authoress wasn't nowhere on there. You hear me? But it's like, yeah. And then for me to create my own genre, it's like, oh, this is different. Because when I say it, folks be like, oh, wait. I ain't never heard that before. Because you'll hear or you'll see like books about healing and things like that, which is very, very good. I've read a lot of healing books that are very, very good. But a lot of things that folk miss is we have to dig from the root of the problem for it to manifest into something beautiful. Because if you just keep hitting the surface or keep just putting a band-aid on what we know go deeper, it ain't gonna do much. And I put it in a space where, like I said earlier, like I want folk to heal on their own. Because when you start healing on your own, then you can really be real with yourself. Like you ain't gotta pick and choose what you can tell or what. No, this you. Like you ain't even got. If you even read the book and you don't want to do no questions right then and there, you come back. Because I need folk to dig from where they won't share nobody else, or what they are afraid to share to the world, that they only got like 3-4 people that they done told. That person, I want you to sit with that one, like, because that's the one that needs healing. That's the one that needs refreshing, and from that, I'm just like, okay. And then for myself, I wrote these books for myself, because when I went back and read a few of my questions on my chapters, I'm like, oh shoot, I need to sit with myself with this question. Hold on. Like, wait a minute. And then when I knew it would hit me like that, I'm like, just imagine how it's gonna hit the folk that's gonna open this book and read it. So, and then, like I said, that's why I'm revamping it for the folk, because I kept getting hurt. Well, when you gonna do an ebook, or are you gonna do what is it, the one where they talk, the auto book?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, we're gonna have to wait for the auto, but I can do an ebook. And I just, when you messaged me about, wanted to get the books or whatever, 3 days before that, I had just started my ebook. So it was like, oh shoot, hold on, I got you. I'm
They let you know
coming.
it's time to get this thing rolling,
Girl,
bitch.
I'm like, you hit me to a baby. I've been, listen, got a baby on my hip, like I've been, child, listen, oh Lord, but I'm getting it. I promise you. By the time this come here, all them books gonna be right there on the daggone Amazon. Folk gonna be like, oh, I'm going right over there. Yep, it's ready. Go ahead, go on, push it. Go ahead, because it's there. I promise you, it's there.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you about Judge, the way of motherhood in a world full of opinions.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
So let me read this to you. So
Yes,
this
ma'am.
book you describe as a mirror to society's hypocrisy, all right? And a voice for every mother who's been told she's too loud, too soft, too broken, too busy, too single, too tired, or too much of something she never asked to be. So in this book, you say you pull back the curtains on the heavy expectations placed on melanated mothers while they are judged for how many kids they have, who they have them with, how they parent, so forth. So, without telling too much, what tips are you giving in this book without saying too much to help mothers heal or overcome this? Like, just give me a little briefing of what you're talking about in this book.
So the really just talking about pretty much what you just said, like covering everything that society has put assumptions on, or put like a certain label on. And I just went in depths about it, like for mothers who have multiple children, for mothers who have different, guys that they may have, conceived with, for mothers that you see tired, but they babies look put together, and it's like, well, you don't know what she just went through, like, so don't just say, oh, or vice versa, like she may look nice and her baby might look not so nice, but not because she don't care, but because something happened.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of folks, oh, you got all this money. A lot of folks don't even know that a lot of things that these mothers is wearing, they done had these outfits for 10 plus years. They just make it look good. And then they got these outfits in the back of their closet that been up there about 15 of them. They had to blow the smoke off. They had to take the cobwebs off, throw it on, look cute. It ain't that they just bought that. It's we been had this. And we take it out on occasions for stuff like this, and then, or the babies, they can look nice, or their babies may look not so nice, but it could have been they just got done playing, or something, something happened, like, tragedies and things happen, accidents happen. That's why it's called an accident.
That's
Maybe something just happened before she walked into that stove or something, and she was unable to get that situation together because she had to run into the store and get some Pampers or some formula or whatever. So it's like just peeling back the layers of stop assuming and just ask questions, or instead of asking questions to be nosy, because a lot of folks don't ask questions to help. Folk ask questions. More folk ask questions to gossip about it than to actually help. So I also wanted to put that in there too. Like, okay, instead of just sitting with a mother, because don't get me wrong, a lot of us mothers got a wall up, and we got a wall up because we don't know what folk coming at us with. We don't know if you coming at us genuinely, or you coming at us to be nosy and to go tell your peoples like, oh, or we don't know if this other mother coming to me just to eggs so that she can top me like, oh, well, that's why I did. No,
yeah.
but if you come, so I get that it's not, we ain't the easiest folk to talk to at times, but you have to understand that mother's journey. So if you actually coming with grace and coming with understanding, then yeah, you will get an answer if she feels that your energy is, genuine. But a lot
That's
of folk ain't coming like that. So a lot of folk gonna get what they trying to throw when they gonna get blocked. And
that's
so I wrote this book for everybody to understand, like, you have to show mothers grace, and you have to just understand, like, everything ain't what it is just because you see it like that. You know what I'm saying? Something happened. Like, folk are the way they are for a reason. And
true.
something happened, whether it's in the moment, whether it's in the second, whether it's been a few days, but something happened, and you just catching a moment of, that mother's life, not the entire thing. So it's like, mothers ain't gotta be perfect, but when you catch us in a moment, it's like now you centering that moment that you caught that mother in, you centering that around her whole motherhood. Like, you
Yep.
caught the mother yelling at her child, you caught a moment. And now you, oh, she a mean mother. She disrespectful. She da da da. Or you catch a mother not at her best dress. Oh, she dirty. She da 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 da. You caught a
Exactly.
moment, but you don't
That's true.
understand, the full story. So we ain't walking into it like that. So that's why I wrote that book. And again, Judge was a story of myself as well. And I was like, well, I guess I'm be writing for the people again. So it's like all of the books that I have right now are actually books that were just supposed to be my story, but they ended up being for everybody, and a learning and an informational thing for not just, again, mothers, but for everybody.
Okay. Let me ask you about rooted in strength. Where did rooted in strength come from? I'm gonna try to fly through and ask you about your books, love, if I
Oh,
can.
sorry. Okay, yes, yes. Rooted in strength. Now that one is centered for melanin women. If you ain't a melanin woman, you don't want to open that one. This is definitely for us. And the reason why I wrote that book is because I needed us to see us for who we are, not just what we are. And what that meant was, I have it sectioned off into, like, I break down generational curses, mother daughter relationships, mother father relationships, father daughter relationships. Like, I got it broken down because, like we were just talking about, there's a lot of things that we go through now that, yes, a lot of things is our fault, but a lot of things will also put on us. So we're
Mhm.
carrying generations from our mother, our grandmother, our great grandmother, and we don't even realize it. And so when people talk to us, a lot of things trigger us, not because it's something they said that's disrespectful, but it's something we didn't realize that we were carrying that made us feel a certain way when somebody says it to us. So
Mhm.
it's like, okay, so let me, break it down in a way where folk don't feel triggered or folk feel attacked. I'm gonna say this in love, because a lot of things that's in that book, it's for us to just sit down with ourselves and not have to feel like, oh, I gotta explain this, or oh, I gotta put on this type of face. Just come and just read it, and just feel in a space where you can just be able to be real with you. Because if we can't be real with us, then who else we gonna be real with?
That's
So it's like sometimes we have to stop and pause and be real with ourselves. Like, yeah, I'm jacked up. Oh, yeah. Because sometimes everybody ain't the problem. Sometimes it's you.
that's
And
right.
sometimes you got to stop and be like, hold on, wait a minute. I was the problem right there. That was me. That was my fault. I did that. Like, but so many folk pointing the finger, so many so quick to point the finger, and they forget, like, no, baby, sometimes we the problem too. You the problem. And that book right there, I had to sit with myself as I wrote it. I'm like, hold on, I was the problem at that. Oh, boy. So sorry. You what? That was me. It was me. I'm so sorry. It was me. And and when I did that, I'm like, so a lot of folk gonna be like, hold on. Okay, well, maybe it wasn't Palm Tom and Jill, it was me. Maybe it wasn't Bobo and Teresa, and it was me. You know what I'm saying? And we want to sit there and use that, oh, well, this is just how somebody is, or this is just how they are, making excuses because of how people treated you. But it's like, you can go through 1,000 of things, and that don't mean you have to be disrespectful.
That's right.
So it's like, why do we keep having to tell folk like, oh, well, that's just how they are? They are trash.
Girl,
And I need you to break that, because that's
Queen,
not okay.
I need a part 2 to this. Look, because I gotta get a part 2. How much longer can I have you? Can I have you for like 10, 15 more minutes? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's fine.
Because just we getting somewhere, and you said something. I was just telling somebody, we gotta quit making excuses for friends, family members, co-workers, and saying, oh, that's just how they is. No. Disrespect don't come with that just how they is. We gotta stop that.
Yeah.
Because there was a situation that had happened. And it's so crazy because we always want to say, like I said, people always want to say, well, that's just how they is. But how they is disrespectful. How they is out of order. How they is out of line. I want to use this example. For instance, it was an event I was at. I'm going to try to keep it short. It was an event I was at. And it was some people, okay? They were making the most vulgar, rudest, nastiest gestures at this old lady. And I ain't gonna lie, it made me mad because I'm like, why is they talking to this girl like that? But what really pissed me off is the fact that him as the man could at least stepped up and said, hey, I know we cool, I know we kick it like this, but I'm serious about this lady. Whatever the case may be, don't talk to her like that. That's disrespectful. But just to sit there and let them do it because that's who they are, that was so disrespectful. And it made me wonder, how did she feel sitting up there with this man and his friend and family making these vulgar comments at you about how they would sleep with you and how they would do this and that with you? Why do people think shit like that? I ain't want to cook. I've been working on it.
Go ahead, baby.
Shit like that is okay. That ain't okay. And to keep giving motherfuckers a pass to do that, it's not okay. That just shows the sickness,
But I've also learned just in my journey that, and I hate making it about us, but we have to really understand what we've done to ourselves, what our ancestors have done to ourselves. We have learned to normalize toxicity. And what I mean by that is we have learned to normalize the I'm okay phrase. Like, you could just walked out of almost being shot at, walked out of the hospital, and your our famous word is I'm okay.
And
I just had a whole baby and my baby passed, and then I'm okay. Like, we have normalized that, or we have also normalized where the older generation can speak to us any kind of way, but we ain't allowed to say nothing. But it's like you have to give respect to get it. So it's like you can't sit there and just talk to anybody any type of way and think you ain't gonna receive the same energy. But at the same token, it's all about maturity and growth on the other end as well, because you can't mix fire with fire. So just because that person is broken, whether they realize it or in denial, we can't keep sitting there, tit for tat. How about, okay, maybe you may be older than me, but you can learn a lot from me too, because in this generation now, I've learned that it's a lot of, what's the word? It's a lot of, I can't even think of the word.
You know what? I can't say it neither, but I know what you're trying to
Yes,
say.
but
It's a lot of, since I've been here, I know more than you. And see, that may be true in itself too, but also there's a lot that we can learn from the young generation.
We can
to
learn
keep
from
us.
each other.
That's right.
And
That's
it's like when you run into like older folk, it's well, this generation ignorant. Da, 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 da. Well, how are we ignorant? Like, and I feel like a lot of folk feel like because this generation that we in now, they are very open. They are very expressive.
and
they're very open-minded because of this social media world. Like, you got social media, so they are open to so much more than what we were open and grounded to. Like, I remember talking to an older lady on the bus a few days ago. It was before, matter of fact, it was the day of Halloween, and she was an old lady, and she was like, "Oh, I got all this candy I want to give out and this, that, and that." She was like, "I remember growing up when we made sure that all the babies had candy and everybody, had costumes and things like that." And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I remember that too." She said, "These folk nowadays, they just lazy." I said, "No, ma'am, we just living in a different time." And she said, What do you mean? Because I remember we could just go out and do this, that, that. I said, "Yes, ma'am. That was back then. You can't do that now. Because even today, if you go out your front door is a risk. So many folk are not even making it back home just by just going out their front door. You can't just have babies running around, because it ain't about community anymore. It ain't about, I watch your child, you watch my child, this neighbor, I trust this neighbor. Nobody trusts anybody, and everybody is stuck in survival mode. And we are in a different time now where it's scary to even think, because you gotta think about it, like, folk just going out, they can go outside, get shot. They go to a schoolhouse, they get shot up. You go to the grocery store, you get shot up. You can't go nowhere. It's gonna be fights, arguing. You don't know where to go. So it ain't about being lazy. It's about being cautious.
That's right.
And because this social media world, you gotta remember, folk want to watch the news, but so much stuff get on social media way before the news. So folk that's on social media know stuff way before the news do, and they telling you like, "Well, I ain't see that on the news," but it happened. It's already done happened. It's old news now. By the time we get on news, it's old.
That's right.
Growing up, we was waiting for the news or for, a phone call or something. Everything is fast forward now. Everything is so quick now. And these children nowadays, it ain't the simple fact that they're being grown, it's they're exposed to everything. Like,
that's true.
There's so much stuff that they're exposed to, and it's like we as adults have to catch up with them, because it's a lot of stuff that my children will come to me about, and I'm like, "Wait, whoa, hold on, I wasn't okay, well, we're gonna have to have this conversation now, because I wasn't ready to have it, but here we go." So we have to catch up with them, because they are exposed to so much more. It ain't that when we was growing up where the TV's locked at a certain time at night and needed the
they could be on their phone. They could be on their phone. You don't even know it.
BT at the dark at a lock, and you needed your parents' code to get in there. Or what is that? They used to have it separated where what is that? Cartoon Network had Adult Swim at a certain time, and
night. I know I was watching Adult Swim, baby. 1 o'clock at night. Yeah,
remember when HBO used to have the premium channels for the X-rated stuff, and then they had the everything is mixed there. Everything come on whenever it want to come on. It come on in the morning time, in the dark time, in the middle of the day. Like, these babies can click a button and stuff just come on. Or even on TV, growing up, it used to be like, "Oh, if it's animated, you good." As long as it's a kid show. Can't do that now. Even animation, even animated stuff, like you think it's for children. This girl, like Sausage Party. I like, well, what the
hell? Look,
I
was just talking about that movie. Wait a minute. But you know what? They keep putting stuff in this movie. You know what? While we on this, because I want to get to one of your other books before I run out of time. But
yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you this: what is your take on how they are putting so much adult material in these cartoons. Like they're sliding it in there, especially like with the men on men thing. We are seeing more of that in these cartoons now than ever.
Same
And it's
sex.
like they pushing it on the babies. And you know, a lot of them ain't even with that stuff. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
And that's
Like,
what
what's
I
your
said.
take on
I
that?
was just having that conversation with my daughter actually. Um, what it is the same thing you just said. I said a lot of folk that's been doing this same sex thing, like Ellen and people we known growing up that was like that. There was, I'm pretty sure they feel so disgusted on what's going on because it's like I believe in whatever you do with your life, whatever you believe in.
Yep.
Cool. I ain't got no beef with you, none of that. I will speak with you. That I got all respect for you. But as far as like trying to, like you just said, push it on the people, it's like that's a different level because it's like some folk are raising their children a certain way and they're not ready for them to be exposed to certain things. But like I said, because of the social media world, regardless on how much we try to block shelter our children out, they're gonna be exposed
It's
to it
gonna be
anyway if you
exposed.
let them go out that front door. But I was having this conversation with my daughter, and she had asked the same question, like, "Mom, why are we forced to look at stuff like this?" And I'm like, I don't think it's the simple fact of being forced to look at it. I think they are trying so hard to be accepted that they are making it a big deal. And what I mean by that is, when people don't know where they fit in at, they start just looking for attention. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's what it is. Like there's been same sex relationships for centuries.
It
You know,
has.
why now is it a huge deal that they have to have their own laws, they have to have their own communities, they have to have why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have made it in a way where society, the government has
Yep.
made it in a way where they are distracting everybody. And it's like the distractions are coming in not just same sex couples, things like that, but illnesses that's coming out and things like that. And it's like this is the problem because now it done became a combative thing. Everything is a combative thing. And I was telling my daughter, I said the government was set up to create chaos, confusion, and dysfunction. And
Yes, ma'am.
that's exactly what it's doing. So when folks are like, oh, well, the system is broke. No, no. They are doing exactly what they were designed to do. Because now you got the same sex couples, which is a issue for so many people. And that's a conversation because they got all these different things with transgenders and things like that. I'm not gonna speak fully on it because I really don't know much about it and I don't want to offend nobody, but they got so much layers to it. And it's like, well, we have to talk about it to understand it, but because they have been getting daggered so much that they don't know when somebody, like we were just talking about, they don't know when somebody is coming to them genuinely asking them questions or coming to ask them questions to mock them. And
Yes.
it's like, so they mix the two because it's like when somebody come up and be like, well, what is a transgender? Or they say, certain terms is offensive to them. And it's like, you
We
say a
don't
term
know
and, oh,
that.
well, that's offensive. Well, it's like, well, wait a minute. How am I supposed to know if I can't ask you the question? Like, sometimes you're going to have to have that uncomfortable conversation in order for people to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Unless until then you're going to keep getting triggered because everybody's not coming to attack you. Some people are actually really coming to learn about it because it's like y'all coming up with new stuff all the time and it's like it's hard to keep up because first, hold on, I didn't know what this stuff mean. Now I go back and I say, well, wait a minute, now I gotta learn this and this. Like what? I can't keep up. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a huge thing for it. And it's like it ain't start doing that until the celebrities made it a huge thing. And so now it's this huge thing. But it's like these poor Ellen DeGenereses and folk that's been living this lifestyle for years. That hurts me because I'm pretty sure they like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like this is nuts. And
Yeah.
so with that, it's just attention. Like it's attention seeking. Like they just want to fit in somewhere. And it's like, you don't have to force yourself on anybody. Whoever accepts you will accept you, but you can't force everybody, because no matter what you do, somebody ain't gonna like what you doing. And
That's right.
that's for anybody. I don't
That's
care
right.
who you are, what somebody ain't gonna like you. And that's okay.
That's
But so what, you
okay.
just gonna fight everybody that don't like you? You just gonna be upset at,
Can't.
well, baby,
Nope.
you can't. You gonna be fighting for the rest of your
You
life.
sure is. That's one thing my dad used to tell me. My dad used to tell me, baby, people gonna say stuff about you all the time. You can't fight everybody for what they say about you. And that's true.
Yeah.
Even as an adult, that's
Yeah.
true. You
Yeah.
ain't gonna be what we say. You ain't gonna be everybody's tea, and that's
You
all
ain't
right.
gonna make everybody happy. You ain't gonna
You
be everybody's cup of
whoa,
tea, honey.
girl, you
You
better
gonna,
say that.
and it's like, you can do everything right, and still somebody gonna, you can do everything. So it's
Find
like,
them out.
live your
Find them
life
out.
for you. Don't keep trying to live it for anybody to accept it or to have it. Live it for you. If it make you happy, baby, choose it. Do
That's
what make you happy. I don't care what Nick Paul and JC got to say. You make yourself happy, but you ain't got to force it on everybody.
That's right. Okay, let me ask you about this book right here. And I've been waiting to talk about this. DNA doesn't make you a father.
That's been the top. When I tell you, baby, that book, when that book came out, fuck was like, whoa, hold on, whoa, wait a minute. Like, when I dropped that book, a lady was like, the title alone grabbed me.
Yes, ma'am. Because that's the truth. That's the truth. It doesn't.
Is.
It
Yes,
doesn't.
ma'am.
What was the motive behind that? Like, where did it, for one, where did it come from? I just want to know, where did it come from? Y'all gotta throw it back up there. DNA doesn't make you a father.
Yes, ma'am. DNA doesn't make you a father, baby. Listen. So when I did my observation of the world of different people, I just had to understand, like, if folk didn't, again, going back to people's stories, if folk wasn't so pressed on over explaining their stories, there's a lot of fathers out here that you wouldn't even know didn't have the same DNA as that child that they're raising. But because so many folk are so quick to have to over explain themselves, it's like, oh, well, he's not really their father, but he raised them. No, baby, that's that's their father. Like, people want to, again, society, the government want to put titles on everything to break things apart. But I've grown up believing, and I still stand on this, that titles are not earned, they're given. So with that being said, I don't feel like just because you have the same bloodline as me that we gonna be buddy, you gonna be, I feel like I always say, you can build your own family, but you can't pick your relatives.
That's true.
So I stand on, just because we got the same bloodline, that makes us related. That don't make us family. Now, if you got a man in your life that is there for them children or that child wholeheartedly, like, he has to be there with love, not ego. And there's a difference. Like, if he's there wholeheartedly without you having to ask him to do anything, things like that, because there's plenty of mothers out there that will push a guy away and he still shows up. Like, they ain't even got to be together no more, and he's still there. And it's like that he is their father. Like,
that's right.
He's standing in the title that he created, because that's who he is to them. And I've noticed that a lot of people will be like, oh, well, he ain't that daddy, that ain't that dad. And I always had to sit and ask a few people that didn't mind telling their story, like, what makes that man not their father? Oh, well, he didn't create them. Okay, so again, because if you look up father, it says provider, protector, emotionally, physically, financially. So is this man doing that? Yeah. Okay. So how is he not their father? Because that's the only thing people jump at. Oh, well, he didn't help make them. Okay. So so what? That don't mean
the one that helped make them probably ain't
they
doing it.
They donors.
Donors.
They are donors.
Let, let me ask you something real quickly. Do you believe in the saying? And I think I know what you're going to say. Do you believe in the saying that a woman can't teach a man how to be a man, that a male figure has to be involved?
Yes and no.
Okay,
And
tell me your yes and tell me your no.
yes, ma'am. Yes and no. I believe that us as women teach all of our children how to be human, because you have to understand all of us are human first. So,
Mm-hmm.
me as a mom, I'm gonna speak from my experience of being a mother. So, I teach my children how to be human first, which means they need to be. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have, a tantrum or something when you can't voice it. It's okay to clean. It's okay to sew. It's okay to iron. It's okay to cook. It's okay. Everybody in my household knows all of that because we are human first. Now, as far as like men on teaching my sons how they are when they feel things, how to express it, that I'm unable to do because I'm not a man. I don't understand how they process things.
Gotcha.
So for a mother to raise a son, she will need a man to help her son process things. Like, yes, we can set the foundation on you are human first, you allowed to cry, we can install that into them. But as far as how to process their their mindset and things, I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm not a male. Just like my son ain't a female, so he wouldn't understand, everything that I'm going through from a female's perspective. But as a human, yes, but not from, the different gender roles. And it's like a lot of people have to understand that children, no matter how much we try to slice it, they need both parents. They
I
need
agree.
a child needs to be grown up with a male and a woman, because when we stand together, we can teach our children so much together. Because like I said, there's something like with women, because even with women, because that's a question people always ask about guys, what about the woman? Because a girl's first love is supposed to be her father, right? A
Yes,
guy
sir.
is supposed to teach his daughter how a man is supposed to treat her, love her, and court her, right? So if the mom is doing everything and she gets in a relationship with the guy and say she never had a guy or always had guys coming in and out, so when she finally grows up to a stage where she's dating, she's going to go off with her mama taught her. Her mama taught her how to be strong. So of course you're gonna be, well, I got you, I got this, I got it. Ain't even about being bitter or being independent. It's just about that's what the mother knows. You know what I'm saying? And if she didn't have a male figure present and active in the home, I'm gonna say present and active because there are fathers in the home that are present but they're not active. Inactive fathers are more damaging than absentee fathers. Let's just put that out there. But I'm gonna say if she didn't have a present father who is present and active in the home, it's hard for her to say what how she's supposed to be loved by a man because she wasn't properly shown that. Or if there's a man in the home and the mom and dad are all constantly going back and forth, of course that's what she's going to carry into a dating, a courting, a relationship, or whatever it is, because that's what she was shown. So I feel like, to answer that question, it's just all about the foundation you set for your children or your child and how you build on that. Because with my children, I teach them emotional intelligence as I grow.
Mhm.
So there was some things that I may not had the answers then when they asked me, but now that I'm growing, I can answer a lot better. Funny because we just had this conversation yesterday because we had family meetings, and I always tell my babies, like, I give my babies the freedom to critique my parenting respectfully, just like I can critique how I want them, to portray themselves. And it's not even about, oh, well, you have to stay in the child's place, because it's like, well, what is a child's place? Well, you got to act your age. Well, what is that? Like, what is that? Like,
Girl,
people so quick to say things
it
because it's
don't really.
cliche of
Yeah.
us growing up. Like, oh, you got to do. Well, what is that? What does that mean? And when you ask the older generation questions like that, it's like, oh, well, they're being disrespectful. How? Because they're asking questions? Because they're trying to understand. And
And
I've
you
got
know
that a lot.
what? I mean, cut you, boo. It just hit me. But that's why some of our generation, some, not all of us,
Yeah.
is on the journey that we are on now.
Mhm.
Because with the older generation, they cut off a lot of our voices.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you could do something and it wouldn't even be your fault, but you got in trouble and
Trouble.
punished
Mhm.
for it.
Yeah.
Or, something could have happened and just not being able to vocalize what was going on. Or you could be going through
Go
something.
through it.
And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, are you a child? What you know? But like I don't think some of us as parents realize that certain
Children go through stuff.
situations can affect a child, whether it's homeschool or anything.
But I tell folk all the time, like mothers, because mothers have their children the most.
Yes, we do. We are
Um,
the first love, first teach, we first
we're
everything.
first, so it's like folk gotta understand. I hate when people say, "Oh, stand just place." You child, you ain't going through nothing. No, stop. Because when a mother goes through something, so does the child.
Say
And
it again.
sometimes they are front row to that trauma. And they don't know how to express it depending on the age bracket. They don't know how to express it. They don't know how to put it into words. So they begin to lash out. They begin to have, anger issues. They begin to shut down. They begin to do everything we do as adults. So it's like y'all expect children to have answers to things that we don't even have answers for, or that we didn't have answers for in that moment. And so with my babies, what I do is I don't I try not to. I say try not to because I have, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm perfect, but I try not to put my hands on them when I'm angry, because it's like people are, oh, well, your children need whooped, but you have to ask yourself, are you whooping your children because of what they did, or are you whooping your child because you're upset?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
A good way to look
some
at it.
some stuff you can teach your children by speaking to them and explaining to them why it was wrong. But a lot of us, because we are dealing with our own trauma and healing and mothering is not easy. Dealing with the trauma and the grief and stuff is not easy. And when it starts combining, it makes you blow up. So sometimes our child can do something real small and we go off on it because of what we already dealing with. So when we do that, it's like, that's okay because that's human. But in revert, like in after everything calmed down, do you go back and apologize to your child and explain why you blew up?
Mm-hmm.
And I do that. Like I sometimes, because of everything that I've been through or that I'm going through at the time, I sometimes blow up
Yeah.
by mistake, and I might say something, that hurt their feelings, and
Mm-hmm.
then I have to go back once I come and I go back and I say, I'm so sorry that I said XYZ, or sometimes you be so mad in a moment that you don't realize that you said it.
Mm-hmm.
Go off into your day, and your child comes back and tell you, like, mommy, when you said this, that, and the third, it hurt me. Do you
Mm-hmm.
respect what your child say to you? Because for me, when my children come to me and say that, sometimes I'm like, I didn't realize I said that. I didn't realize it came off like that. And I'm so sorry. Because sometimes we don't catch what we say to our children, but they can bring it back to you. And that's for anybody. Like sometimes we don't even realize what we say to somebody or how it comes off because we're so in the moment. And it's like a lot of us are upset with somebody that didn't even realize they hurt us
Yeah.
because we never said anything about it. But then you have the people also, if somebody bring it to their attention, they go in defense mode, like, oh, I didn't say that. I didn't. Well, wait a
Yep.
minute, pause. Well, if I said that, then this just how you take it. No. Just because you said something does not mean that somebody else will not feel some type of way. Now, I always teach my children, I'm like, you have to be mindful of not what you say, but how you say it. Because you got to remember, you may be like, I know I'm saying this and I mean this, which is fine. That's your truth. But you got to understand how the next person will receive that. Like you may have said it in a way where you may have meant it one way and they took it another way.
Like, yeah.
That's not you didn't say anything wrong. It's just where they are mentally. And
That's
so if they do tell you like, hey, that hurt my feelings, the emotional intellect will be like, oh, I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. But you
right.
never take back what you said if you knew what you said
Was right.
wanted to say, but you do acknowledge the person like, okay, because you don't know where people's journeys are, you don't know where people's triggers are, which is understandable, which is why communication is so important. But and I always say it's so important to have those uncomfortable conversations,
Yes.
because once you have those uncomfortable conversations, then you can really understand who the person is behind the mask, because we wear masks every day. And
Woo! Say it.
and
Say
I
it.
feel
And
like
that's the
it's so
truth.
funny because my son, or it might have been my daughter, it might be both of them, when on Halloween, I said, it's funny. Today is the day where people really be themselves. And my daughter was like, wait, what? I said, yes, ma'am. Everybody, we wear masks every day. She said, we wear masks every day. So she had to think like we wear masks every day. She's like, oh, I get it, because people are different people every day. I said, yeah, you're getting there. Yes, ma'am. That's it. And she was like, so what do you mean by people are themselves on Halloween? I said, because people can really be who they are on Halloween and nobody even knows, because it's Halloween. People so used to people being behind masks. So you never know who's being themselves, because it's like, oh, this is a fun day. You can dress up as anybody, not knowing that
Girl,
you're dressing up, but who they really are. And so that was that.
let me say this real quick. I'm gonna go to the next question.
Yes, ma'am.
When I was working on my book, it just took me back to it. I had a character. Her name is Stephanie, and in certain situations, right,
Mhm.
depending on what she going through, she may seem